Oh, the podcast pup. Hooray for the podcast pup.
I know. Hooray for the podcast pup.
Hooray for the podcast pup.
That's you, Milo. You're the podcast pup. Hello and welcome to Hardly Working, the show about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. I'm Kelly.
And I'm SP, and we have transitioned from fire to Arctic freeze. It is so cold this morning. It was 34 degrees when I got up, and I think it has climbed.
Cold.
It has climbed up to 36.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because I got up early and he's like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "We have to get our daughter up for school." So I'm going to get out of bed, put my sweatpants on, and go. And I come back in maybe 10 minutes later. The light is fully on. So I was like, "Oh, he's out of bed." Nope. He got up to turn the light on and fan off and then went right back under the covers and snugged up. I was like, "You want a heating pad?"
I didn't. Wow, it didn't feel like you were making fun of me in the moment, but I hear it now.
I was just up and cold.
I didn't get out of bed. We have a ceiling fan above us, and I can sit up in bed and reach the pulleys. So I turned the light on and the fan off because the fan was what was freezing. And I was like, I'm not getting out there with the fan on. It's already so cold.
I did. I bundled up in my sweatpants, my oversized sweatshirt, and my Ugg slippers, and was like, "I'm gonna waddle out here to make myself a hot coffee and wake my daughter up."
And she did all of those things and more. And I came in shortly after that.
It was just so funny because when I walked back in, I was like, "What?"
Yeah, you asked me if I needed more time.
Well, I was like, "You're acting like you're still sleeping, but the light's on."
Yeah, it's not a good ploy.
I don't really know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's a little weather update for you.
It's cold.
It is freaking cold.
Ding, 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 ding,
I
ding,
also
ding.
posted what I think will be my last fire update,
Aww.
which is a bittersweet thing.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so grateful for all the people who've been on that journey with us and who have specifically made the transition over to hanging with us on the podcast.
Thank you for being here.
Yes, thank you, thank you. It was weird to do that last night, to be like, I think this is the last one because all the fires are pretty much gone and out.
Which is amazing news. Thank you for the rain.
Totally. What's weird is like I've become a part of people's morning and evening routines. At least that's what they've said in the comments. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I'm letting people down. But there's just nothing left to talk about with that.
We can talk about something else.
And we will, for sure. Right?
For sure. P. Diddy case. What's happening in the world.
Oh, gosh.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively drama. We'll find something.
See, I don't even know what half of those words mean. All I know is fires. That's not true. But I also got a root canal yesterday.
A root canal, yeah.
If I sound a little bit sadder than normal.
You sound exactly the same.
Yeah, but there's just something inside of me that
I thought
feels
you were going to
like
say a lisp or something.
No, I knew
you got nothing.
You can hear that, but you might also be able to hear just the sadness in my voice of having lost a part of my actual self. That nerve that used to be in my molar, I don't know where it is. I think it's gone.
In the trash
it's gone
somewhere.
forever. Probably. It's probably medical waste. They probably don't just like Kobe and like throw it across the room. But who knows? I'm not a doctor. But let me tell you, this doctor, Dr. Guys, which I thought was like a comic book villain.
Guys?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's easy. Like a guy. And then I was like, more like Dr. Disguise. Like Mr. E. Like he feels like a... But he was not a villain. If anything, he was a superhero. Because that dude took care of that tooth in 45 minutes with no pain at all. I did get a lot of shots in my mouth. Yep. But... it was totally fine. It was very odd. I'll spare you the details. But if you need to get some dental work done, Dr.
Here's your
Guys,
sign to
baby.
do it.
Here's your sign, and go to Dr. Guys.
Yeah. 6 months ago, 6 months from today, 6 months from now, you'll wish you started today. That's the phrase.
Yeah, especially if you have a cracked tooth like I did. You'll really wish you started 6 months ago. So let Dr. Guys know that Hardly Working sent you for 10% off your next root canal.
No.
Plus free shipping for whatever you
Free shipping for your
tooth canal.
For your nerve. You'll get your nerve. Free shipping.
That's right. We'll ship it out. Somewhere. We won't do any of that. Honestly, that's kind of been the big parts of my week.
I know, but we celebrated Oliver's second birthday.
Can you believe that? 2 years old. It feels like just a year ago we were celebrating his first birthday.
I know, it's crazy. Crazy.
It's because it was a year ago when we were celebrating his birthday.
Literally. But still, it's crazy to think that he's 2.
It was cute. He ran up to me at the family fun zone. I don't know what it's called. The place where the birthday was, where kids jump around. It's like a big play place.
He loves you so much.
You know what?
I'm going to tell the story because it's truly hysterical.
I don't actually know which story it is, but go for it.
You can feel my pain. Not really. We're like his aunt and uncle. For those of you, aunt. We're his auntie and uncle.
How fancy.
I don't know.
Don't get all argy-bargy with me.
They're South African. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
auntie. But he loves me and I know it and I love him. His mom's my best friend. So like, we're cool. But I was like, I want to see Oliver because it's his birthday. And like, we love him. We see him every week. We love him so much, all the stuff. If you don't know, he loves Pat like so much. Well, SB, he calls him Pat because he can't really say.
He technically calls me Pat.
Yeah. But I saw him and I went, Oliver, hi, Oliver. And he looks at me and he gets this really big smile. And then he goes, Pat?
Yeah.
And I just pointed and he went, and he like ran over to him and gave him the biggest hug and then pulled him along because he wanted to go play. And I was like, this kid, I love you so much. And I know that you love me, but you love my husband more.
Yeah. He's at that age, that toddler age, which if you are an adult that takes interest in the things that kids that age take interest in. Like,
I do.
Be so excited about a book or be so excited about a truck or
or dancing in the kitchen to firefighter song.
Anything. Like that's been my key to parenting. Our kid just turned 10, which most of you know. And I am her favorite parent. There's no other favorites beneath me, just the top. And then everyone else is 2, 3, and 4. She'll tell us that.
In whatever order.
But I think it's because like I am the parent that literally is like, what can I do to spend time with you? You want to play Goat Simulator 3? That sounds terrible. Let's do it. You want to play Barbie dolls? And I'm going to sit on the floor for a half hour on our hard floors? That sounds terrible. Let's do it. But every single time I get to like have that moment and that memory. And it's the same thing with Oliver is every time I get a chance to have like a positive interaction, even if he's in a high chair eating, like making it fun. It's big smiles, it's big motions. And I do feel lucky that lots and lots of kids, particularly in that age group, like they just find a lot of joy out of being around me. And
which is great.
It's cool, And I loved when Brooklyn was that age. I loved it. And since we're never having kids ever, I just have to live vicariously through Nick and Simone and Oliver.
There you go. That's great. Sorry, my leg hurts.
Anyway, happy birthday to Oliver.
I got a podcast pup on my lap. So.
Oh, yeah, we didn't mention the podcast pup. Unless it's in the intro, which it might be.
But he's here with me, so I'm just adjusting. Hi, Bubba's.
Anything else from this week?
We looked at the calendar, and I was like, what did we do this week?
It's been weird. This whole year
I did some photo booth stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Not gigs, just prep.
Okay, we've both got quite a few big gigs coming up here. And I figure we might as well mention it to you guys because I don't think we have yet. But in a couple weeks, we're actually going to be moving to a new studio for the show. So if you just listen to the show, it really won't impact you very much at all. But I think in a couple weeks, maybe like 2 weeks, we'll have our first, maybe 3 weeks because of our travel schedule with work. The next couple weeks, we'll have our first episode from the new studio.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So tune in.
Very excited. Yeah.
Hopefully it'll look pretty similar to this. Actually, I want to make some changes, but that's besides the point.
We're going to make changes, but we'll get there when we get there. Mm-hmm. Anything else about like filling us in that we've forgotten about?
Let me look, but I don't think so. I truly think that this week has been mostly a recoup week and like coming down off of all the things.
I will tell you also though, the more we do this podcast, the more generic like spammy sponsorship stuff we get. And there's been no shortage of that this week. People like going through my personal website to be like, hey, you can, we want to sponsor this if you want to do this, this, and this. And it's always like, no,
thanks.
Doesn't seem good. Not that we would never do sponsorships, but.
It has to align with who we are though.
Totally. Like my knockoff Nito. Oh, that broke.
It's okay. You have like 16 more.
They're all terrible.
And I watched you yesterday while you were scrolling to buy more Nitos. Did you buy more?
I bought one more, yeah.
Yeah, I thought so.
And it can't be a Nito because they're too hard. It has to be something else.
Yeah.
I forget what the off-brand
is. But anyways, get Nito. Link in our description. Just kidding.
In our Nito. Anyway, you ready to jump into the show proper?
Yeah.
Today is January 29th, if you can believe it. We have somehow made it through an entire month just about of this insane year. This month has been the longest year of my life, is what it feels like. It has been so long, but here we are at the end, January 29th.
I mean, yeah, we're the beginning of the year. I don't know.
Tell me, what does January 29th mean to you, Kel?
It means that we're 2 days away from our engagement anniversary.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have to tell the story before we get into that happened today. So I put on this jacket that I have because it was raining. And
he doesn't wear it very often.
I don't, because it's like a jacket with like a pseudo hoodie underneath, the liner of a hoodie. It's like a really
thick jacket that you're going to wear when it's so cold.
Yeah, so I did. And I was like, what is going on? Like, there's an inside pocket next to my chest. And I was like, it just feels like it's not sitting right. And I dig my hand in there. And there's a couple of receipts and stuff, which is not that out of the ordinary. But there's also a jewelry bag, like a small cloth bag that like folds over and clips, but has a zipper. Like it's a very
Girls would know.
intentional bag.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a jewelry bag.
And I was like, babe, like, what is this? And I handed it to you, I think.
No, you opened it.
Oh, yeah. And I showed you what was inside. And it was.
Oh, that was the ring that I used to wear before we were engaged. And all of the receipts pointed to Vancouver.
Yeah, I guess.
2019.
It might have been the last time that probably not the last time, but one of the last times I wore it was literally 6 years ago.
We were in Vancouver.
When we were in Vancouver, which is where we got engaged, which totally makes sense because I got you your engagement ring and your wedding band at the same time.
Yeah.
And you had been wearing that cute ring that looks like your wedding band before that.
Yeah.
So she had put that in the little thing, and now you've been wearing that ring. Those switched on that day and have never switched back.
I know. I need to clean that other ring.
Oh, yeah. It's looking a little dirty.
Yeah. But I'll clean it and then maybe we'll take a picture. I have no idea. But it was crazy for him to find that and to find all the receipts from like Capilano Bridge and different things like that, which is where we got engaged.
Yeah.
But it was nice little memories and like so it's great timing because our literal
craziness
like engagement anniversary is the 31st.
Yeah, which is 2 days from now.
Which is crazy.
January 31st.
Thanks, January 31st.
But that was a cool little thing to stumble into yesterday, 2 days ago.
I know, it was crazy. I was like, what is that?
I was going to ask you, though, about that ring. Were you just wearing it because you liked that ring? And you're like, I'd like my engagement band or my wedding band to look like this?
I think so. I can't tell you where I got that from or where it's from. I have no idea. Truly. But
interesting.
But I did like the way that it looked, and it was similar to kind of what I wanted and as a wedding band.
Yeah.
So I think I probably wore it somewhere.
Who knows? I think it was your go-to ring for a long time, and I'm going to guess Etsy is probably the answer to where it came
right.
from.
Honestly.
Etsy. Anyway, that was January 31st, but today is the 29th. See, I knew you were right there, and I totally walked all over you.
January
29th. A couple things happened today. A lot of literary things happened today, but I'm not going to hit you with all of them because some of them are boring. But in 1845, Edgar Allan Poe's poem, Edgar Allan Poe is most of the word poem.
Yeah.
It took me my whole life to
Edgar
figure
Allan
that
Poe,
out.
what, the Crow? What?
Yes. Tell me more about yes, 1845. Edgar Allan Poe released his famous poem.
I don't know any of his poems.
The Crow.
What's his?
Tell me about The Crow.
He has a crow on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he tells a poem.
That's exactly right.
What is the poem?
It's The Raven.
The Raven.
Quote The Crow.
I was
Nevermore.
so close. I was so
It's
close.
like Brooklyn today. She's like, what color is my favorite color? It's similar to black.
No, I was in the right.
It was white.
It was white. I was in the bird realm.
You were
and a
in-
crow and a raven are pretty close.
You know what? I will give you that.
They're both like large black birds that people are scared of.
If it wasn't repeated so often in the poem that it's the Raven,
I don't think
Raven.
I don't think I've ever read it.
What? You weren't forced to? Anyway.
I mean, if
look,
I was, I don't remember. It doesn't matter.
That's because the book is over the poem's over 150 years old ish. No, over 150 years old. Because
Probably very dark.
1845, it was published in the Evening Mirror in New York, making its first time the author's name.
The Raven.
It was the first time the author's name, Edgar Allan Poe, was associated with his work.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Other things that happened today. Apparently, it's National Puzzle Day. Did you know that?
No, but we should make some puzzles, build some puzzles, work on some puzzles.
You know, I grew up doing puzzles.
I know. Your mom is a big puzzle person.
She's a puzzler. One of my favorite puzzles. Did you ever do puzzles you could get from the old Warner Brothers store?
No.
Where it had like the Looney Tunes in it?
No.
I'm just going to throw this out here. One of my favorite puzzles that I remember was a Looney Tunes puzzle. And if I can recall, they were on like a big wooden ship, like a Viking ship kind of thing.
Weird.
And all the characters
sounds
were
right.
all around it. Yeah. And, you know, I'm
I'm sure they had different ones like that too. On a spaceship,
totally.
on a boat.
It was my
As a
favorite.
boat, I
And I
guess.
have like very little affinity for the Looney Tunes. Like,
Yeah.
that was definitely before my time.
Except for Space Jam.
Space Jam's the
course.
best. But like, we all know the characters. You know,
Yeah,
Bugs Bunny.
Lola Bunny. Isn't it Lola?
I guess, yeah, I wouldn't have even gone that far. I would have gone to
Daffy Duck. Is
Daffy
that-
Duck. Yeah. Sylvester, I'm pretty sure, is in there. Yosemite Sam, those
Yeah.
kind of things. I know those characters. And it was always fun to find their faces and stuff.
Yeah.
What's the first part of a puzzle that you do?
The corners.
Like just the corners or the borders?
The borders, but
Yeah,
you
me
start with the
too.
corners.
You gotta.
There's only 4.
Do you have any puzzles you remember from childhood?
Puzzles I remember from childhood. Puzzles I remember from childhood. Ooh, I don't know.
We used to end up doing a lot of puzzles when we'd like go on little vacations, like up to Big Bear or Arrowhead.
Yeah.
You know, where it's like you rent a house and they just have a bunch of board games and puzzles.
Yeah, I know that we did do puzzles, but I don't know that I could tell you what any of them were. I feel like we've done lots of puzzles since then too, like a Rapunzel puzzle or a donut puzzle or a corgi puzzle that we just got your mom.
Or the Bob's Burgers puzzle.
The Bob's Burgers puzzle.
Which I don't recommend because it was so much
we tore
yellow.
It down. We still
Do you
have
remember that?
Yeah, we can build it again if you wanted to.
No, because it's so much yellow. Mm-hmm. It's just a background of solid yellow.
It's fine with me. I loved it. We
nightmare.
Have 2, I think, Bob's Burger ones.
I think we do too.
But anyways, I don't know. But I'm a puzzler in the sense that I like puzzles, not necessarily the jigsaw puzzles that you're thinking of, but like puzzles in general. Like puzzle games. Like
did we talk about the puzzle guy that
No, but he's great.
Yeah, he solves these like wooden box puzzles that are so intricate.
Chris Ramsey. On the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Chris Ramsey.
He'll do like 20, 30, even $75,000 puzzles, which is insane. I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I think there was one that was way more expensive than that. That's some
crazy.
guy like bought for him and was like, I want you to film this and put it on your YouTube channel. That's really cool. They just did a Harry Potter one. It wasn't my favorite, but it was pretty cool.
It was okay as a
But
briefcase.
the pyramid one was so fun.
Yeah, Chris Ramsey, check him out on YouTube. Very, very fun. Good work. A couple other things. This one's just for your dad. So I put it in here for your dad.
For good old Mark. Okay.
1995, the San Francisco 49ers become the first NFL team in history to win 5, count them, 5 Super Bowl titles, defeating the San Diego Chargers 49-26. Oof, in Super Bowl XX1X. I'm not going to do the translation there because I'm not going to be able to figure that out. Sure.
Is an X10?
I don't know. All I did was Super Bowl
29.
49 and Super Bowl 50. And after that, I stopped paying attention.
That makes sense. Probably 29.
Yeah, something like that.
Congratulations, Dad. He's a big 49er fan. Huge.
Huge. 2 movies worth mentioning came out on this date, January 29th. One is one that's a very old animated film from 1959, a Walt Disney classic.
Snow White.
Close.
Little Mermaid. No, that was 95. Who am I? Sleeping Beauty.
It is Sleeping Beauty. If you don't know the tale of Sleeping Beauty, it's Princess
Aurora.
That's correct. Cursed to fall into a deep
slumber
until awakened by
her prince.
True love's
Prince Philip.
kiss. True love's kiss.
Yeah, but I'm pretty
It's like
sure it's
Shrek.
Prince Philip.
Yeah, you know, I don't really know. And then, of course, that's where we got Maleficent from.
You, I walked with you once upon a dream.
Is that Sleeping Beauty?
Yes.
Is Sleeping Beauty a musical?
I mean, I think all Disney movies have.
At one point?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure I've seen this as a child. Couldn't
You're
tell
not
you much
missing
about
out.
it.
It's okay.
But, well, we don't talk about Princess Aurora very often anymore, but we do talk about Maleficent quite a bit. We don't, but like
people do. She's a big villain, yeah.
Big deal. Do you think she was big before Angelina Jolie played her in the movie or whatever that was?
I think when you talk about villains, which some people are really into the villains, I think she was part of that. When you think about, because you think about Hades, you think about
Ursula.
Maleficent, Ursula. Yeah, the evil witch.
The witches. One more movie came out. You want to hear it?
Always.
She's All That.
No.
1999. Do you remember who was in that?
No.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
And Sarah Michelle Gellar?
No, Rachel Leigh Cook. Rachel Leigh Cook. Did you not watch She's All That? I figured like this would be totally in your wheelhouse.
I don't know. I may have. Freddie Prinze Jr., I mean, I've seen lots of his movies, but...
This is like the tropiest trope I've ever troped. The plot of this movie is the film follows a high school jock who bets he can turn an unattractive girl into the prom queen.
Oh, yeah. I have seen this.
Yeah, I know. I knew you did.
Yeah.
It's just been lost in a series
Then he
of
falls in
Hallmark
love with
Christmas
her.
movies. Yeah,
He's
of
like,
course.
you're beautiful. And you're like, all right.
Yeah, that was back in the late 90s where it was like, girl takes her glasses off and then we're like wow,
whoa.
She was such a nerd with glasses. We couldn't see past that.
Or you have Never Been Kissed with Drew Barrymore.
Isn't that kind of the same-ish thing?
When she's a journalist and they or something like that,
Send her
and they
back to
send
high
her back
school?
to high school, and so she like is like all nerdy or whatever, and then falls in love with the baseball player or something.
It sounds like the same movie.
I mean, it's
like
all the 90s movies
How to
were...
Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
90s and 2000s were all kind of the same. How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, slightly different.
Do you miss that
I do.
type of film? You know, like...
Just happy-go-lucky.
Yeah,
I
like
do.
rom-com type thing.
I do. You know, I miss the simplicity of what movies used to be. Now I feel like everything has already been done, and so you have to do something out there and kind of crazy. I'm not really into the horror films, so like there's a new movie coming out called Companion. Like, I'm sure it's like good and like looks interesting, but I'm like, it's not my cup of tea.
That doesn't sound
I wouldn't
fun.
do that.
No.
You know, but I do miss some of those ones. I think that's why I enjoy Netflix movies.
I think so too. Which also reminds me of how sad it was. Remember the other day, we're like, let's watch like a movie from the 90s or the 2000s.
They've taken them all off.
All of this, like, what did we go through? Shanghai New, Shanghai Nights, Austin Powers 1, 2, and 3, Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3. Batman is on HBO. We ended up watching Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
We were talking about watching Ace Ventura 1 and or 2, and none of them are available anymore.
They have taken, and this is like a surprise to some people, but not everyone. They've taken off all those old movies from most of the streamers because streamers are tired of paying the royalties and residuals for those movies. Like they're not bringing in enough eyes to justify paying the actors for that. Is my assumption. No, and so they're like, forget it. We'll just shelve it.
That's what I want. I want to watch those movies.
It does suck because a lot of us have gotten rid of our physical versions of a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, but we used to have it.
Yeah, not anymore.
Dang.
So that was a bummer. Anyway, but I digress. Those are the movies that came out.
January 29th.
Still got a few more things. Birthdays. Happy birthday, Oprah.
Happy birthday, Oprah.
It's Oprah's freaking birthday. Wow. She was born in 1940.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Really? Does that mean she's in her 80s? That doesn't make sense.
You're lying then.
Okay, well, then the information I pulled from the internet, which is never done me wrong.
Let's look at it.
Says, yeah, because she can't possibly be 84, 85 years old, right?
I don't know. You got to give me 1 second. Winfrey birth year.
Or day. Either way will work. They'll probably give the year and the day. Is it January 29th?
Hold on. I'm not there yet. I'm slow. Yeah, 1954.
54. So we got the year wrong, but the day right. 1954. That's much more reasonable. So that's right. Like 70.
She'd be 70 years old.
Perfect. Happy birthday, Oprah. You really did a lot for a lot. Tom Selleck, his birthday. I'm sorry.
Tom Selleck.
Does Tom Selleck mean something to you?
Isn't he in like some of these older movies?
Like Magnum P.I. and stuff. He has like a mustache.
He's like
oh my gosh, everyone.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah. He's the other Burt Reynolds.
Yeah.
So it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Tom.
Yeah, Tom Selleck. Yeah.
It's also Screech's birthday from Saved by the Bell. Dustin Diamond's birthday.
Wow. I don't know that he turned out well, but I don't actually know.
It doesn't totally matter because he also died.
Did he really?
Yeah, he's gone. Screech is no longer on the earth.
Maybe that's what I heard.
No, I'll tell you what you probably heard. So like years ago, this is pre-2020.
I never watched that show. So.
Me either. But in the old days, before 2020, he got arrested.
For something bad.
He was in a bar Christmas morning with his girlfriend, a professional clown, when he stabbed a dude. Yes. That's a lot to happen on one day. But that's what happened. And
was she dressed in her clown costume?
No, but apparently she got in the scuffle too. You don't want to mess with clowns, especially party clowns, especially girl clowns.
They're ready for it.
They are ready for it. So yeah, Dustin Diamond stabbed a dude, went to jail, and is now dead. But if he was here, I would say, happy birthday.
Yeah. Thanks, January 29th.
Thanks, Dustin Diamond.
Anything else that exciting that happened on the 29th?
Just one last thing, the passing of the other author and poet that we didn't talk about. Robert Frost passed. On this day, January 19th, two verbs diverged in a yellow what? How does it go?
You're asking the wrong person.
All right, look at my tongue.
Is it there?
There it is. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. 'Tis the east, and my heart is the west, and Juliet is the sun. I may be mixing poems, but the first part was Robert Frost. You didn't have to read Two Roads Diverged in a Yellow Wood in high school? Really?
I don't remember much about
period or from high school?
Learning in high school of certain things like that. I don't particularly care for poetry unless it's written in song form.
That, I would argue, is not true of you because there is a woman on TikTok that you follow that does spoken word poetry.
I don't like old poetry written by men.
Well, I can't blame you there. There's great, beautiful old poetry.
I'm sure there is.
Women. But also, my thought in terms of, we've talked about this before, all of this stuff, let kids in schools read more recent stuff.
Yeah, I don't need to read Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
Or Where the Red Fern
Or The Crow.
Grows. Or
Some of it's important.
Or
Fahrenheit 451
I don't think
should be read, but I think is on the banned book list, but it's important.
but also newer than hundreds of years old.
I know, but some of this
like
stuff,
Tom Sawyer doesn't need to be on this list.
no, but history repeats itself, and we should be learning about history and learning it. And since we're talking about dates, thanks January 29th. Yes, nope. Monday
I
was national, or not national. It was the World Holocaust Remembrance Day.
Yeah. We've been to a couple Holocaust museums, you and I.
Yeah. I was thinking about that yesterday as I was watching some videos that were showing up on my TikTok, of course.
Yep.
Revolving around that and watching some videos of Auschwitz and like, you know, they can't show you everything because some of the stuff they just can't show you. But
sure,
they were doing a remembrance day. I think they had 50 Holocaust survivors who went back to Auschwitz.
Wow.
And like placed candles at like the death wall, the shooting wall.
Jeez.
But yeah, the Holocaust, which you know this, is a weird, I mean, I think it means a lot to a lot of people. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
But my grandma lived in Germany and escaped from Germany and luckily was never put into a concentration camp, but she did lose a lot of her family to that. But she has a crazy story, which we'll get into another time, but that stuff always gets me. And I was telling you last night that it was such a weird thing to watch. So it was because, you know the algorithm, you like something or you watch it for long enough and it's like, you like this, we'll keep showing you stuff. And especially on a day that is Holocaust Remembrance Day, it is the day. I kept getting videos of Holocaust survivors sharing their stories. And I got really choked up because it's the first time that I've ever heard someone who sounds exactly like my grandma. Because it's this weird mix of like German accent and then like an English kind of accent. It's not quite, you know what I mean?
It's like I don't know if this is offensive. I don't think it is. It's like a watered down German accent.
Yeah. It's very interesting. But it was the first time I'd ever heard someone who sounded like my grandma.
Yeah, it's a trip. Huh?
And was kind of speaking the same way. And I was like, oof, like just it was just not a remembrance, but like a clear picture of like, oh yeah, like my grandma lived through that too. Yeah. In a different way. Because like I said, she luckily was never in a concentration camp, but like she still lost everything and lived in somewhere to Shanghai before she came here and saw a really terrible thing. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I'll get into her story another time, but
it's quite
I just wanted to mention
harrowing tale. Yeah. I'm glad you did because that stuff's important. Just like you mentioned with the books, as history repeats itself.
Yeah, it's just important to know about it, to learn about it, and to stay up to date. And don't be fooled by things that look good. Like history does repeat itself unless we stay vigilant and are aware and make changes.
Well said. I don't think I could say it better than that. Well, let's transition to something a little bit lighter.
Sure.
You never saw this movie Bullet Train.
You did, though.
Yeah, and I freaking liked it.
Maybe I'll watch it on my next plane ride.
It might be intense.
Maybe I won't.
I don't think it will be because it's a train.
Maybe I'll watch it home from my next plane ride.
There you go. But it was great. Brad Pitt's in it. A lot of great people are in it. But it's this like hyper fast moving train, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which
bullet train.
Yeah, a bullet train.
I feel like I've been on one of those.
Maybe when we went from London to France.
I don't think it was bullet train, but I think I was on one in Japan maybe when I went.
I don't know. But this guy clearly saw this same movie because he found himself in a very...
Was he on a bullet train and there was people that were trying to, like, what are they called? Not hijackers. That's too intense. Assassins, yeah.
Yes to some of it.
Okay, let me hear it.
Unfortunately, not the assassants part.
Dang it.
But I mean,
in
reality, yeah, fortunately that it's not. No, this man clung to the outside of a 175 mile per hour German train after the doors shut him out on a cigarette break. Now, I don't know if
I wouldn't jump on. I would just wait.
What do you mean jump on? He was still outside. He had stepped outside of the train car to smoke.
But he was still on the train. He didn't like step off onto the train platform.
No,
he stepped onto like those places you can. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like between train cars, like that situation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, so essentially, this 40-year-old Hungarian man took an extended cigarette break at. I'm totally gonna nail this. Ingolstadt station. We all know where that is. Then he found himself locked out of the high-speed express train traveling from Munich to Lübeck. Determined not to lose his luggage, he clung into a bracket between carriages as the trains reached speeds of 175 miles per hour for 20 miles.
That's scary.
20 miles. And I was like, I wonder how many minutes that was. Yeah, I was like, but still too many minutes is the answer.
How fast was the train going?
175 miles per hour.
Okay, perfect.
Or 700 kilometers an hour.
So it would be really fast.
Yeah, I don't know if that conversion's right because I'm sure it's not. I don't know kilometers very well.
I'm sure he didn't have another
though,
smoke break.
yeah, the dude was totally unharmed, which is crazy because we've talked about a lot of stories of people jumping in the wheel well of an airplane or different things like that. And you're like, that wasn't wise, not a good idea. But he was unscathed. But then it also said this. He's facing charges for fare evasion and disrupting operations. I understand the operations part, but maybe he was on the train illegally anyway.
Yeah,
that sounded weird to say, but maybe he was on there without buying a ticket already.
Maybe, but if they're doing that because they're like, well, when we came through, you weren't here. It'd be like, that's not my fault. You locked me out.
I could have died on this train.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So stay off trains. That's what I'm saying. I'm curious for this next story because I've always wondered. There was a story a couple of years ago, and I can't exactly remember the details, so I'll give you the broad stroke.
Okay.
There was an old TV show that only ran like a season or something and has like little to no following. It's way old. Talking like maybe 60s, 70s, something like that.
Has no following. I don't really remember it.
Well, that's why I can't remember it because I can't even think of what the show is. But that's the whole point of it was like, it was like little to nobody even really cared about the show, except this one dude who loved the show so much. And when he passed away, he was never married, no kids, no next of kin, and left all of his money to the two leads of that show.
Really?
Yes. So they got this huge paycheck out of nowhere just because this guy was a huge fan. By the way, if any of you are like that out there, go ahead and just send it over if you need to. If you need a next of kin, you can just send it our way.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying. But I was always like, can you imagine just randomly someone like, here's $200,000.
That would be so weird. I'd be like, who's this person? And like, why do they do this? And
but also awesome.
But also, yeah, I guess going right in the bank.
I think the first thing I would think is like, this is a scam.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
But probably not, because if he wrote it into his will, it means someone would be actually like like a lawyer would be calling you to be like, hey.
Do you think that happens like in the movies where they're like, we're gathering all of the people to read the will and divvy it up?
I don't know that they do it exactly like that, but I do think that when they are reading the will, people that are in it, they call them into they call them in and they tell them.
Like the movie.
You could ask your mom.
That's true. She is an attorney. Anyway, this thing something just like this happened again in the real world.
Okay. For what show? Beauty and the Baker?
Not a show.
Oh.
Yeah, no. That was just an example of how it's happened. I was reading this article. Woman shocked as she inherits a stranger's $500,000 after they died alone.
Why?
Well, essentially, this woman, Lorraine, she's 60 years old, and she lives in Canada. And she just at some point found out, I guess this is the translation in pounds, she found out that she's got 400,000 pounds, like England money.
Yeah.
This is a very educated podcast.
I think
waiting
they
for
only
her.
use pounds in
know,
England,
it's so
or London,
frustrating. When
and then
you're
they
in
use
euros
everywhere else. Yeah. So
anyway,
right.
she learned that she got basically $500,000 waiting for her from this dude Raymond Howson, who's an 85-year-old man in the UK.
Okay, why did he give? I thought you even said Canada.
She is in Canada. And he's in the UK.
Oh! Why? How did you find her? What's going on? I met you when I was 15 and fell in love.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so creepy. I fell in love at 15.
So I wrote you into my
Never
will.
said anything. Just figured at the end I'd give you a bunch of money. No. Anyway, so it turns out that this guy, when he passed away, no next of kin, never married, no children, just like the other guy. And this genealogist had to go back to try to find out, like, is there
anybody that related? And he was related to this person?
Essentially, it looks like he was related to her mother, who immigrated over to Canada, which established that familial connection. And now she just walks away with $500,000.
That is insane. Truly insane and crazy.
Can you imagine?
I'm ready. I'm just kidding.
All of a sudden you're on board. But can you imagine if this dude was 85. So, I mean, you have to be thinking about what's going to happen with my money and property when I pass.
You could buy a house with that money.
You could buy a small house. You could buy a condo in LA for that. Not even a townhouse.
Barely.
But I imagine he had to be thinking about it, but I guess he just didn't care.
Because he's going to die, so he's probably just like, whatever.
But what if it just sits there? At least in America, I believe that if you have no one to give it to, it just like goes to the government.
Ew.
Which is not what I would want to use my money for.
It would go, yeah.
Who would you want to do if we didn't have a kid, no next of kin, no family, and you can't donate it to a good cause?
You have to give it to somebody?
Yeah. I'm like whittling it
My
down to the most
God.
impossible task.
And you can't give it to a good cause. Who would I give it to?
Or what would you do with it?
I can't, and you're taking my siblings out of it?
Yeah, there's no family.
Okay. I would probably give it to like my closest friends. Unless you're saying I don't have any friends in this fictional world.
I don't know about the
I can't give it
fictional
to-
world. The fictitious world is no, it does have friends in it. Of course, you can give it to friends.
Okay. But if I can't give it to a good cause, because I would donate it to a good cause, but I can't do that.
No charities.
I would give it to my friends. I would diversify, I would spread it out and give it to my friends.
Oh.
Or I would set up, what's that called? Like college funds for their kids.
That's so sweet of you. I had a kid once when I worked with middle schoolers. We asked the icebreaker question of if you had $1 million,
What would you do?
what would you do? And everyone is like saying these nice answers. And this one kid gets to him and he goes, I would use that $1 million to end world hunger. Oh, wait, no. I would get a mini fridge.
He'd end world hunger for him.
He's like, screw all these starving people. You know what I need is a mini fridge for drinks in my room.
Yeah, $1
Or
million
whatever.
worth.
So good. I think your route's good, giving it to friends and people you know.
What else do you do with it? You know what I mean?
I think I would probably rent a blimp. And I would take all of my money in cash. Small bills, not
And
ones,
just like
but probably
spread-
20s at
You wouldn't
least.
be doing this. This would be someone else living out your dream. So like me,
That's
being like, I guess
true.
I'm going to go open this blimp and like throw a
but
bunch of money out.
We'd have to like fly low. Like we couldn't do it from the stratosphere. We'd have to be kind of low. And then we just dump all this cash out.
This is like so inappropriate, and so I'm so sorry. But I wonder how much you could pay those. They're not firefighters, but the people that fly those planes that like drop water.
Oh, the water dumping.
yeah, and just have it a
helicopter.
bunch of
Just with
bills,
cash.
and you just like throw it. You know what I mean? They just go
You know
because
what?
they're the ones who are the most equipped. to
Mark
do-
my words. With all of the crazy tech billionaires in our world right now, I am going to say within the next 5 years, sometime between now and 2030, one of those people will drop an airplane full of cash over probably like a football stadium or some giant place just to stir things up. So you heard it
Maybe.
here. Thanks, January 29th.
I think if I could, I'm going to change it up now. If I didn't have any friends, I would tell people, I want you to set up a photo booth, like a 360 photo booth, and I want you to get one of those money
guns.
and just put real ones in there and have them do it. And do that until it's all gone.
I will say this, though.
Yes.
First of all, awesome idea.
Thanks.
And I think we should look into that anyway.
Yeah.
With the money guns. But also, having worked enough events where we give away free stuff, no one really cares what the free stuff is, but they will line up for it and stand in line and even
Yeah.
tear it out of people's hands
100%.
no matter what. And so I think we might cause some damage if we just shot a bunch of money out places. You know what? I saw a video of a dude throwing, he was like an older man, probably 80, was like throwing his cash off of a bridge at the mall or something.
But why? Oh, to give to people. I saw that too. And I was like, what are you doing? But whatever brings you joy, whatever makes you happy.
I think that bring me joy. It also bring me hardship because I don't have that kind of money.
Yeah. I mean, if you were dying of cancer though, you'd be like, well, that was too soon. That felt too close to home because that's how your dad actually died.
What? Nice to know now, 16 years later.
Sorry. I don't know why that felt too soon. It wasn't,
It's not
but
too
like
soon at
it
all.
felt weird to
But
say.
it probably will be cancer that takes me. I'm just going to guess. How do you think you're going to go?
Cancer. I'm
Really?
just kidding.
Did we talk about
I told you how I wanted to go last night. We
yes.
were laying in bed. We were nice and cozy and
Oh,
warm with
yeah.
the heating pad. And I was like, yeah, this. Like we could each just take like a forever sleeping pill and just like fall asleep together when we're old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then I was like, if we didn't have a kid, I'd be like, I'm good now. Well, how much more of this do we need
No,
to
I
do?
would want to travel more.
To where?
Switzerland?
I really thought you were going to say Sweden, and I was in.
Sweden too. I've never actually. That's probably what I was thinking. Sweden, Switzerland. I've never been to Australia. You have. I'd love to go to Iceland,
Knives, watches, chocolate.
and I'd love to go see Machu Picchu.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Swiss. It's a Boy Meets World line.
I want to go see Machu Picchu.
I'd like to see that too, but it seems like a lot of walking.
Yeah, you'd have to like prepare for it, but
I need like the helicopter tour of it.
no, because you gotta like go and be at the steps.
Helicopters scare me a little bit now too because of Kobe Bryant.
I know that was a long time ago, but
5 years.
I know, but I did. I'm not going to talk too much about this, but I did see someone say like I did myself a disservice, and I got really into the Kobe Bryant accident, and I went and looked up his autopsy report, and I shouldn't have done that.
No.
I was like, yeah,
just because
Don't do
information
it.
is accessible doesn't mean it should be seen. Sometimes
yeah.
there's a lot of weird people on the internet. That's what I've learned lately. I got one more thing. If you want to transition from sadness to
yeah.
You have so much despair in your eyes. Hug the podcast pup. Hug the podcast pup. He's the pupper. Would you ever do any kind of plastic surgery? Like down the road?
Does that include like Botox? Or like
I guess it could. That seems more like a cosmetic procedure.
I don't really want like pillow face, as people call it.
Yeah.
But I'm learning that most people get stuff like Botox. Is Botox filler? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it's the definition of it, but I don't know.
Or something like that to help with some of like their crow's lines, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Plastic surgery, only if it was to fix my scar.
Oh, on your hand.
Yeah. But outside of that, I don't have any issues with myself.
Wow.
I mean, I could lose a couple of pounds, but I feel like everybody always feels that way.
Of course. I would consider plastic surgery down the road. Like if I lost my hair, but wanted like hair implants or something.
Is that considered plastic surgery or just hair implants?
I mean, I'm thinking more like cosmetic.
Yeah. I'm like, what could you do? You could make your cheekbones look better.
You get a facelift.
I feel like I have good cheekbones. You could get a boob job. Well, I got good sets of those too. What else do you do it for?
The chin.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about that.
A tummy tuck. Brazilian butt lift. Heard about those recently.
BBLs.
Yes.
I don't feel like I need any of it.
Well,
I am who I am, and that's who I am.
I love that about you. And thankfully, you're beautiful.
Thanks, babe.
So you don't need it.
Thanks.
But this woman in this story thought she did. In fact, she thought she needed it so bad that she spent upwards of $100,000 on cosmetic surgery. But
with a fake doctor.
No. It's not a nip tuck situation or what was that other show?
Fake.
No. Yeah, you're totally right. That's not accurate. It was like gone wrong, like worst botched surgeries. It's some show, remember?
Yeah. I mean, there's a documentary out right now about a guy that did a bunch of stuff and like really got people sick and killed people through his plastic surgery.
It's also sad too because there's a lot of people who spend lots of money trying to look like other celebrities. Like I remember someone tried to look like Justin Bieber or one of the Kardashian people, and not only does it never work out.
No, you always look worse.
Yeah, but like a decent amount of those people get to the point where they just unalive themselves, and it's very, very sad. I'm not talking
about, know who they are anymore.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about people who get cosmetic surgery or plastic surgery. I'm talking about people who try to like change their body to look like a famous person.
You can't. You are who you are.
I know. It's sad when you see that stuff. Anyway, this woman though got $100,000 worth of cosmetic surgery before she met her husband. So her husband didn't know about it.
Oh.
It wasn't until she gave birth to their baby
that he found out.
That he goes, "This is an ugly baby, and it doesn't look anything like me or you. So who's the father of this baby?"
And she's like, "It does look like me, but before I got all this done."
So she had to come out and tell him, like, "Yes, this is not like what I normally look like. I'm so sorry, but I didn't have an affair," because that's what he thought. He's like,
Yeah.
Who did you
You're
sleep
like,
with?
"Let me show you my baby pictures."
Oh my gosh. You look just like our ugly kid. The dude, though, takes her to court and sues her.
For what?
For lying. Actually, I don't know
It's
if
not
there's
lying. He fell in love with someone and he married her. It's your baby comes out however baby comes out. You can't control that.
Well, here's what it says. Feeling deceived, the husband took the matter to court and was awarded $120,000 in the settlement.
Won?
He won $120,000. He won more money than it took for her to do the plastic surgery by suing his wife for an ugly baby.
That is so weird.
Yes.
I don't even have words to say because I think I'm like, that poor girl. She already was so like not happy with the way that she looked, and then she's being told that her baby is ugly.
I mean, I saw a picture of the baby. It's pretty hideous.
Hey.
I've not seen a picture of the baby. I'm just joking, probably.
Very little babies come out beautiful.
No, they come out like aliens.
I know, because they all kind of look like alien creatures.
Yeah, they look very weird. Half baked at best.
Yeah, only like 1% become Gerber babies.
Gerber babies.
You know what I'm talking about?
Of course I do.
I'm just saying.
Only 1%.
I'm making up numbers. I
know.
don't know.
I was like, that means millions
I'm
of
just
people
saying. You know what I
have
mean?
been Gerber babies.
0.00001%.
Yes,
are
the
cute
same
enough.
amount of RPMs we get on our video.
Exactly.
From TikTok. Thanks, TikTok ban. Anyway, that's the end of the stories. I've got some more, but I know we're getting close to an hour here. And Kelly's got Unpop Opins because that has turned into her portion of the show.
Unpop opinions.
So Kelly, tell me our first unpopular opinion. That, by the way, I should give a shout out to that we do post on our socials at It's Hardly Working on TikTok and Instagram.
Thank you to everyone that voted.
Yes, thank you to the hundreds of you who voted on these. These are your results.
But we're also going to get our thoughts.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's going to agree with what the results
no, that's true.
are.
So, oh, wow, I did that wrong.
Oh, perfect. This is a good time to figure that out.
I've got it. Sorry, I got a podcast pup too. This one I do not. Well, I'll share my thoughts later.
Spoilers,
but this is hummus isn't just a dip; it's a meal by itself. You're supposed to give me your thoughts.
Well, I mean, you were halfway to giving us your thoughts before you told us the unpopular
it's a meal
opinion.
by itself. Do you agree or disagree?
I 100% agree for vegans, particularly vegans. Hummus and chickpeas, not only a snack when they are dried and covered in Bombay seasoning and stuff, but also hummus just in and of itself can be eaten like you would eat a yogurt. And if you are vegan, your options are a lot smaller than the rest of us. So I'd say for a normal person, it's not a full meal. But for a vegan, 100% it could be.
Okay, 49.5% of people, 59.5% of people disagreed with this.
That makes sense, but that's still a large amount that agreed.
Yeah, about
That's like
41.5.
40%.
Yeah, 41%-ish. I hate hummus.
I know, it's so weird that you hate it.
Maybe I should give it a try again. I don't know.
Every time you do, though, you still hate it.
I
It's
know.
like seaweed for you.
I haven't had it recently. You started getting hummus that had like bell peppers and stuff in it.
Yeah.
And you really liked it?
Bell peppers and stuff.
Yeah, but I don't think it's a meal. I did watch a recipe the other day, surprisingly, with hummus, but she was making it was like, kind of think of like a taco bowl, but instead of salsa, she mixed it all with hummus.
It sounds good. It sounds confusing.
Yeah,
but I
it's
can
not
see how it
exactly a
would
taco
work.
bowl. It's like grilled chicken and like some vegetables and things like that. And
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, interesting. But I think that made me go like, maybe it isn't a full meal. Maybe it's just like a part of a meal. It's not necessarily always a dip, but it's always just a part, because I don't know anyone that just eats hummus. Like you have to have something with it. Carrots.
Usually pita bread.
Pita bread?
Yeah, something like that. So I guess technically
Is it considered like a PB&J, but it's a pita and hummus?
it wouldn't be a J. It'd be like a P&H.
Well,
Pita and hummus.
I know, but I was like, I'm comparing it to like a PB&J.
Oh, like a little Sammy, a little sandwich.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so. But I would be curious, kind of like in the Middle East and stuff. Is it a full meal? Like, do people just eat hummus like that?
I don't
Or is
remember
it
having
just
any
weird
hummus
vegans?
in Israel.
Because you don't like hummus.
Yeah, but I do remember eating lots of pita bread with like ham and cheese in it and chips.
That was the most low
And
rent sandwich
mustard.
situation, like bologna stuffed in pita bread, and then
Oh, it
stuffed
was
chips in
bologna. It
there.
wasn't even ham.
Yeah, it was. It's not awesome. Before we move on from that, I don't want to take too much time, but Kelly did make first try homemade focaccia this week.
I'm gonna make some again tomorrow.
It was freaking great, y'all.
Thanks, babe.
Like she actually, and we ended up. I was just there. Kelly ended up making these sandwiches at the end of the night. That was homemade focaccia bread with homemade guacamole, with the chicken with your homemade seasoning on it.
Yeah.
And what am I forgetting? Anything?
Guac, cheese, chicken,
Just cheese, I
focaccia
guess.
bread.
But like,
But it
most
was-
of it was made by hand by you.
And it
I
was a crazy
like,
thing. I was like, wow, I've made this whole sandwich.
Yeah.
Basically from scratch. Like
And
truly, I made the bread from scratch. I made the guac. I made the chicken.
I mean, you
I mean,
didn't,
like I
raise
baked
it,
the
but yeah.
chicken and I cut all that stuff. It was I was like, wow, look at me go.
I was literally like, this is definitely better than when we buy all the stuff at the store, but boy, is it more time consuming.
But
I
it's
was like,
fun.
"Eh."
It's fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the process.
Yeah, and you were good at it in school.
Thanks, babe. Make
What's
more
next?
mistakes. Waking up early doesn't make you more productive.
I disagree. I think it absolutely does. Sure, if you wake up early and do nothing, like I know some people wake up like at 4:30 to do their makeup for 3 hours. I think that isn't more productive. But I do think that generally, at least for me, when I get up before everybody, It's the best time. It's like driving on the streets on Christmas. No one else is there.
Yeah.
The whole world is sleeping. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood.
Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying, you can get so much done. If you sleep in on the right side of the clock, like you go to bed earlier and get up earlier, yeah. I mean, it doesn't mean you're going to be more productive, but you're not going to sleep in later and be more productive than if you got up earlier. I totally disagree with that and think get up early is more productive.
Well, 58% of people don't agree with you.
58% of people want to sleep in.
They say waking up early doesn't make you more productive. I kind of agree with this. I don't think the act of waking up early equals being more productive. I think it's a choice that you make. And I think you can be productive. Some people are more productive at nighttime. Some people are more productive in the middle of the day. I think you got to figure out your time and space where you can be more productive. For me, I think I'm more productive in the morning for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like a certain type of morning. It's like starting at like 9 a.m. to like noon. I'm like, I could be super productive. And then I'm like, I need a break.
Well, also we're shifting to all right, it is the afternoon now. We do have like kid responsibilities like pick up and homework coming in. So like our days typically stop around noon in terms of working.
But sometimes I can be really productive at night too. Like if I get started on something, I'm like, oh, I can keep going.
A big thing for us has been giving each other permission to do things when you're motivated and
if you're feeling motivated, do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no matter what time of day it is, which has been really, really helpful, particularly as we've made like I have shot no less than 4 videos every single day and posted them. And some days it was like 10 plus videos.
Yeah.
And if we didn't have that understanding of like, whenever you need to go for it, it would have been a real problem for us.
Yeah, of course.
It would have been a real problem in my last relationship.
Yeah.
100%. And it was. So I do agree though that I think I'm more productive in the mornings, which is ironic because our job typically happens during the evenings.
I know. Yeah. But I do think that being productive is a choice.
100%.
You get to choose to be productive. And I don't think everyone's built that way, and that's okay. But y'all got to figure it out.
Yeah. I always think of it as if you ever heard the phrase or the conversation around knowledge is power, and then people go, no, knowledge is potential power. It's like you have to do something with that knowledge to turn it into power. And it's kind of feels like that with this. Like getting up early doesn't make you more productive.
Yeah, but if you do something with it, then it is. Yeah.
What else do we got over there?
All right. Most people don't actually want community because it requires effort and participation. I know that's true for you.
Can I just say this, though?
It's so funny.
I'm so grateful for the community we have around this show and around our TikToks. And we will be jumping on live soon because now that we're not posting fire videos all the time, I definitely think it'll be really cool to be around that community. One of my favorite parts of these, one of the only good parts of this last month with all these videos has been seeing this community of people who's either coming here because they have been worried about something or they've been looking to make something better in their lives, and just getting to do that together has been really, really cool. In terms of that actual sentiment, I don't think that people don't want to be in a community because it's hard. I think they still want to be a part of community, but they don't do it because it's hard. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
I don't think it disqualifies people from wanting to be a part of a community. I just think that, especially, we've talked about this all the time, the older you get, the less places and spaces you have to like meet people. You're not going to school every day. Sure, you might be going to work, but half of us are working from home. Like, there's just not that many places to meet new people and find community. And so it's even more work now to be like, what do I do? Ask if people want to put a date on the calendar to go to dinner? That seems like a lot of work and a lot of schedules.
Yeah. Not for someone that is scheduled. I like community. I want more community.
Do you really want more community?
I don't know that I want like to diversify. That sounds bad. That's not what I mean.
Yeah, I know that's not what you meant.
Yeah, I don't know that I want to expand my community, but I want to continue to develop the current community that I have.
Yeah.
But I know that takes time and effort, and I think it's easy in what we do. We talk about this a lot. When we go and work and do our job, it's literally like, for lack of a better way to say this, guest facing at all times.
Yeah.
And because we each are the face of our business, it's like, you have to be on at rehearsals. You have to be on during setup. You have to be on during the entire event. So then sometimes it's hard to be like, well, let's go try to make a new community, because you have to be on again until you get to a place where you're comfortable. Yeah. Whereas like the community that we currently have, Danielle and Randy, Simone and Nick, Ashley, May and Jonathan, Dana, everybody else that's on the list. They like know us, and so it's not work.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's
totally.
Like I can just be who I am. I don't always have to put a good face on. I could be sad or upset or disappointed or just having a down day or happy and proud of myself. Like, it doesn't really matter. I can just be who I am.
Yeah. What were the numbers? Did we get the numbers?
65.5% agreed with this, that most people don't actually want community because it requires effort and participation. I agree with you when I say I think that people do want it, but don't want it enough to go out and do the thing.
Yeah, let me ask you this. So like 2/3 of the people said that they think people don't actually want community because it's too hard.
Yes.
Do you think they're thinking of it from the perspective of themselves or about how they perceive other people?
That one.
Because I thought about it from how I perceive other people.
Yeah.
And that does ring true to me. But it was funny because the first thing you said is that I am that. So I guess in a certain way, I'm looking at it from my perspective and the perspective of others.
Yeah, we a couple years ago took on the phrase like it's all about the hang.
Yeah.
And you were like really
Thanks, Pete
into it
Holmes.
for like 6 months.
We still do it.
I know I have to remind you, and I'm not saying that you're
I think we've been
not
doing
good
it
at this.
better now than we've ever been doing
That's
it.
true. I think you have come to a place where you're realizing, yes, I do need to put myself out there even if I don't want to.
Yes, and I will say
So I will hang.
the significant decrease in my anxiety since August
Yeah.
has allowed me to have more mental and emotional capacity to do things like that,
That makes
rather
sense.
than just retreats.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I still am someone that gets excited about things. Like I get excited about events that I get asked to do or excited about places that you're going where you're just like, ugh, like it's another celebrity thing.
I don't
And
say
I'm
that
like, you don't, but
to their faces.
no, but I'm like, wow, like they're asking me to do this. Like, that's so cool. I'm so bummed I can't be at this one because I like really want to
know.
be there or whatever it is or like, oh, wow, look, I'm a part of SAG and AFTRA. Like we can go to FYCs and like join them. And you're like, but why? I already work those events. And I'm like, because it's different when you attend
Yeah.
in the equal level.
But that's the thing is you seem to care about being invited into circles like that and being like someone wanting you there. I just don't have that in
It's
me.
because my brain goes, what got me here won't get me there.
100%.
And so I go, yeah, it's great that we've worked these events and been at these events, but like to get invited or to be able to go as a guest versus a worker is different.
I think you and I see it differently because we, as you've said that, I realize we have different experiences. Like, yeah, I know I'm working events,
Yeah.
but like
You work in a different
Kevin
capacity.
Feige, I brought him out on stage.
I know you work in a different capacity than I do.
Totally. Like, and I'm usually working with celebrities and different stuff like
100%.
that. And while I consider myself a peer in terms of being like a person who works in the industry, obviously they have a lot more fame and credibility.
Of course,
and stuff. But like, that's kind of how I see it. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Get invited to this room with a bunch of people that I've already met in a different capacity? It's just a little bit different because our jobs are a little bit different, but
Yeah. I mean, I get to personally see them and have them smile and take a photo,
that's true.
but it's just different.
But do you talk to them for 25 minutes in front of people? I don't recommend it. It's a long time.
No.
All right. What's the last ones? How many more do we
We
have?
have 2 more.
Let's do the last 2.
The kinder you are, the worse others will treat you. And the more you give, the worse you'll feel as they continue to exploit you.
Okay. Wait. For my sake, can you read it again? But
As Yoda? Just kidding.
as Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, I'm not gonna.
No. But can you read it again? Because I'm trying to figure out if I'm reading this from my perspective. Because I think it shifted. I'm thinking about it for myself again. But I just want to hear it one more time so I understand where it's coming
The
from.
kinder you are, the worse others will treat you. And the more you give, the worse you'll feel as they continue to exploit you. I think this is talking about like an individual type of person.
Yeah, 100%.
The takers in the world.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly disagree with the logic pattern, but agree that you will find yourself feeling taken advantage of at times and exploited by people who take advantage of your kindness. But to me, it's not the kindness is the problem that leads to that. I think it's lack of boundaries and having unspoken or inappropriate expectations for people that lead you to feeling those ways. That's why I needed to hear it again.
Yes.
Can I get it one more time?
Sorry.
Just the first half?
Oh, yeah. Let me zoom it out. The kinder you are, the worse others will treat you. The more
Pause right there. That's what I meant. I don't think you get treated worse for being kind. I disagree with that.
I think it depends on the type of person you're with. When I hear this, I think about the person in, like, my brain goes, the person in your life that you like so badly want to be a part of their life, but they don't want you to be
what
there.
an interesting thought. I would have never been.
I mean, I
there.
feel like I've been in that situation in the past.
Oh, no. I've been in that situation, but for this
Yeah.
specifically.
That's how I thought about it, where I was like, yeah, like this is talking for me, talking about that one person. You're like, man, like that person's so cool. And I think we'd get along. And like, I want to be their friend. And so you continue to try to like be kind or do that. And they take advantage of it. And then they exploit you for that because they're like, we're never going to be friends or you're never going to be on the same page as me. And it's just, I mean, I don't think that happens to everybody, but I think it has happened. Those two things go against each other, right? But I think it has happened to everybody in some way, shape, or form, whether it was in school or at a job where you were trying to get buddy with somebody.
Right.
And they were just like, yeah, right. But that's how I think about this. And I do think it's true. I do think that in those situations, the kinder you are, the more taken advantage you'll be and the more you'll feel used. But I think it's a personal growth to be like, man, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Mm-hmm. And if you're choosing to be kind to someone and they're being mean to you, believe them. Believe that they're a mean person and they're never going to be nice to you. You're not going to win them over with kindness. You're not going to win them over by continuing to go out of your way. You just need to change directions or change what you're doing or decide that person's not important enough. Or like, obviously that person doesn't want me in their life, so I'm not going to be their friend, their coworker, their friend or what buddy, but I will do the things I have to do with this person, whether that's interact for a job, which is the only thing I can think of. Or interact because you happen to be the spouse of my friend. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Or the friend of my friend that I'm like, well, I don't particularly like you, so I don't need to hang out with you one-on-one, but like I can be around you and be okay. Yeah. But we don't need to be friends.
Sure.
I'm learning that.
Yeah.
In our personal life.
Yeah.
So not with you, but I am a people pleaser by nature and a 2 on the Enneagram scale. So I'm a helper. And so I just always want to be helping and want to make people feel loved, valued, and known.
Yeah.
And heard, valued, and known. I guess that's what I normally say. And I'm realizing that just because I'm nice and kind and I have the best intentions at heart doesn't mean that everyone always has that. And they're not always going to meet me there. And that's okay.
It's a hard lesson to learn that not everyone wants the same things or thinks the same way or is kind as everyone else or anything like that. But yeah, I think maybe what you're getting at too is like we've talked about we've talked about maintaining who we are even in light of other people who aren't as gracious.
And that's okay. They don't have to be, but I can still be who I am.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at.
And you can be kind and still hold boundaries.
That is a lesson we've been learning for sure.
Yeah. You don't have to be mean and rude. You can be kind and still hold boundaries.
Truth. Did we get the answer of what they thought?
64.5% agreed with this.
That you get taken advantage of if you're kind, essentially. How many percent? 65? So that's these have been kind of steady. The last one was like 63.
Yeah, it was interesting because on one platform it was like 67 and on another it was 61.
So it averaged out.
Yeah.
Okay,
last but not least. On a lighthearted one, huh? Breakfast for dinner hits harder than in the morning.
Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Because this is empirically true.
Yeah.
Like it's more special. It's more fun. You've got more time to make more things. Like you can make more for dinner.
Make the pancakes. You can make the bacon.
Do it all.
Or the waffles. You can do it from scratch.
I guess some people have enough margin in their life on a Saturday morning to do that for breakfast.
Saturday morning I would do it for breakfast, but not during the week.
It's too much. It's too much stuff to do. And it's less special because it's in its right normal place.
Yeah, I love breakfast for dinner. It is such a fun thing to make breakfast for dinner.
And it's the only meal you can switch and be excited.
Yeah.
Like dinner for breakfast sucks.
Steak and eggs.
No, like lasagna.
Gross. Pizza. Some people have pizza.
Well, let's talk about that real fast. Cold pizza for breakfast. Some people are like, just as good as hot pizza. That's definitively untrue as well, right?
Cold pizza for breakfast?
Yeah.
I know that it's a really big thing in college. Yes.
I mean, yeah, it's probably the laziest place that it gets done.
Yeah. I think I used to do ice cream for breakfast when I was in high school during the summers.
Well, first of all,
but that would be at like 11 o'clock.
And second of all, I guess when I said that you can't swap another meal and be as exciting, I was leaving dessert out.
Yeah.
Because dessert's awesome no matter what
Chocolate
time
malted
it is.
crunch, baby.
Oh my gosh. Is that the thrifty ice cream you used to have?
That they now sell at the grocery store.
Oh my gosh. Yes, though.
Crazy.
Dinner or breakfast for dinner goes way harder than breakfast for breakfast.
I agree with you. And our people at home did too. 83.5% of people agreed that this was true. Because it is. Because breakfast for dinner is the superior dinner.
It is. Okay. Yeah, a superior dinner, period?
Just in general. There's something about it that it's like, yeah, this is the best thing ever to have eggs. And for me, it's going to be a sourdough.
Well, that's what I want to ask.
Oh.
Tell me what is your perfect brinner, as we call it? Breakfast for dinner.
It's two options. Here's
Okay.
the deal. I love breakfast. We don't eat it very often, but I do love breakfast.
I think that's part of why we love it so much.
Yeah, it's either going to be a breakfast sandwich that's sourdough bread with avocado, smashed avocado on there with garlic salt. So kind of guac, but not. With bacon, a fried egg, and some like good cheddar cheese, melted, cut in half, and maybe some hot sauce.
Whoa.
On that, or to dip in.
Hot
some
sauce,
hot honey on there.
Hot honey feels better. Hot sauce feels like it should stay away from the breakfast table. I understand that some people put it on eggs. I get it in omelets, but that's still eggs. But like hot sauce feels like a lunch dinner time. Breakfast feels sweet over savory.
Yeah, I would do probably a hot honey. The other option would be like a really good breakfast burrito with eggs, bacon, some salsa, avocados. Yum.
Yeah, I'm sure we've mentioned
tots.
it. It's the only thing I like from Jack in the Box is their like meat lovers burrito.
And it's like 1,000,000 calories.
Yeah, it's like 1,200
it's like
calories.
heart attack calories.
Yeah, which I've never eaten all in one sitting.
No, I think we've shared it.
Yeah, and it's been years since we've had it, but we usually split it.
Yeah.
But yes, breakfast burritos are great.
What's your go-to breakfast? Sorry.
For Brenner, yeah?
Yeah.
Because like I would be happy with a breakfast burrito for breakfast. And I'd be like, it's a special day. If I had a breakfast burrito for dinner, I would be like, this is not quite Brenner to me.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't. I'm probably starting off with the blueberry bagel toasted with cream cheese.
Yum. That's what I would do, a bagel sandwich. Take it back.
Yep. So it has to have cream cheese on it though. And my preference would be blueberry because the sweetness of the blueberry is going to offset the folded or scrambled eggs that are on top or like in the center of it. Yeah. Of course, we've got cheese. I'm not picky about what the cheese is.
Maybe some hot honey.
Hot honey could be good.
I
probably
think that's
put
the answer.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm going to tell you, we've never done it, but I think it's the answer.
But I also need like 2 to 3 strips of, not full strips, but like half strips of bacon on that sandwich, and 100%. I'm good. If I'm living my best life,
sausage.
I like a sausage patty. Like the McDonald's sausage patties are really good. I hate to say it, but they're really good. Sometimes things get too fancy, and I'm like, it's a sausage. It's ground up rando meat. Let's make it good. Anyway, no, but the side, it's hard for me to think of an ideal breakfast without a waffle being involved somewhere. Waffles are great. And so
my side is waffles.
My side would be hot waffle that I could pull apart with my hands and dip into very, very, very cold but authentic maple syrup. And then
by authentic, he means in a glass bottle.
It can be.
The Vermont maple syrup.
Yeah, it just can't be that like crummy, bad kind. It has to be like good.
I got you.
That'd be, you know what? That's what we should do for dinner tonight.
Brenner, I won't be there.
Oh, well, maybe. No, it's a lot of work for me and B.
I know. Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Are those all the unpapa pins?
Those are all the unpapa pins for today.
Dang.
Thanks everyone for voting. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been fun to be
see your
doing
guys' response.
Yeah.
That wasn't a full sentence. Response. Sorry.
Also, I mentioned this earlier, but if you're looking for something fun to do, watch an old movie that you like. We watched Batman Forever and Batman and Robin.
Yeah, that was good.
Which turns out 2 different Batmen.
Val Kilmer,
and George Clooney.
And then in the Batman one, even before that, was somebody different.
It was Michael Keaton, but we didn't watch that.
We didn't.
But you liked. Correct me if I'm wrong, because you did watch the Clooney one and then go back to the Kilmer one.
I like George Clooney better.
I thought you'd say that, but he was kind of a boring Bruce Wayne.
I felt like he played it realistically.
He had like 6 lines in the whole movie.
Only talk like this the entire time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Val Kilmer fan, but he was like a star before my time.
Yeah.
But I thought he was good. And of course, the Riddler and Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey, amazing.
Yes. What I will say is Nicole Kidman was in that movie as a love interest, and I was a little sad that they didn't bring her back for the next one.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he was with somebody else.
I think it was probably supposed to be the same person because it was like conventionally attractive blonde woman in both movies.
Her name was Julie.
Was it not Julie in the first one?
I don't think so.
I don't know what it was. But go back and watch an old
odd.
movie. Also, Nicole Kidman still looks great.
100%.
And she's got that new show on Amazon.
Which one?
It's the one where she is like playing a cougar who has like a 20-year-old love interest.
Oh, I should go watch it.
Oh.
Are you talking about the one with Zac Efron?
No. Kind of similar, but this one's not a comedy. This one's serious.
Oh, I'll have to go and
so
watch
maybe
it.
It's not
I watch all the Nicole Kidman stuff. I love her.
Well, I liked her in, what was it, 12 Perfect Strangers on Hulu? 9 Perfect Strangers? Something like that.
But then she also just did...
was it...
Everything that feels is good. Well, it must be illegal. That was the theme song by Meghan Trainor, Criminals.
She works so much. I don't even know what she's
White
in
Lotus,
anymore.
but it's not White Lotus. And the girl from White Lotus was in it.
Uh-huh.
The Perfect Couple.
Perfect Couple. That's it. Speaking of White Lotus, though, that comes out, I believe, February 16th.
Yeah, I'm excited about that too.
With our guy Walton Goggins.
Yeah, Walton Goggins. Yeah,
very exciting. Anyway, anything else you're looking forward to other than television shows? Ooh, I'll have a show to watch in a month. That's great.
Look at that.
Finally.
And I'm gonna be finishing watching up Suits.
Watching up Suits. We're just watching them up over
I know.
here.
I'm like not speaking well today. Forgive me, everybody, including you.
Forgiven. I learned from High Potential that there was a rift between how you do the crosses.
Yeah, and you did
up,
it.
Down, left, right, up,
it's
down,
not a
right,
rift,
left.
It's just that they do it differently.
I think it's down, down, up, up, A, B, A, B.
Yeah. Unlock that secret move. What am I looking forward to? Oh, I have girl dinner with two of my friends coming up here. So I'm excited about that. And then Brooklyn's birthday party is happening.
Yeah, I almost said the wizard themed. It's wicked themed.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. Last year, oh my gosh, it was Harry Potter themed. If you saw that,
it was so good.
Listen to that episode. We had a good time.
It's not going to be as good this time, but it'll be pretty good.
It's going to be freaking great.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what else is going to be great?
Your face.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And this whole week.
That's true.
Not just for us.
Because good things keep happening to all of us.
Yeah. And hey, if you're looking for something to remind yourself of, just keep telling yourself, good things always happen to me.
They do.
Good things keep happening to me.
They keep happening.
Because honestly, you'll start seeing all the good things that keep happening.
Yeah,
That's what
will.
we've been doing. And it's been working out for
It's been
us.
so good.
Good things just keep happening.
And I think you see them more when you start saying that.
It's true.
But
And I think good things are going to be happening to you all week long, whether you are playing, working, staying, or other words. One thing's for sure is that I hope that you spend
most of your time
hardly working. Love you.
Mean it.
Bye.
Bye.